Hello, folks. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to Stay Well with Dr. Zorba Pastor.
That's me.
We love singing along.
Sing along to the jingle.
All right, I'm Carl Christensen. I'm sitting across the desk from the one and only Dr. Zorba Pastor.
I am real. I am here. I am not virtual.
He's right here. He's a real person. Flesh
and
blood.
Public radio show for 35 years. Hey, the show had legs. You produced it for a whole bunch of years.
Yeah, over 13 years.
13
Yeah,
years. Then
yep.
you were my co-host for a long
For a
time.
bit, yeah.
After Tom retired, it was wonderful. And we are doing this podcast because we want to give you good information that you can use.
Today, we have a big show. We're going to discuss new research about how social media use is linked to lower cognitive performance in
Really
preteens.
important. Really important. This is important stuff for parents to know for their preteens, and it's important for grandparents to know for the preteens, and it's important for the preteens who may be listening to this to know also. And I think it really is going to have, I think the serious cognitive issues of social media need to be addressed.
Yep. And Zorba's going to help out a caller. He's going to take some listener emails. And get this, Zorba, I haven't told you this yet. We might check in with Little Debbie. Remember Little Debbie?
Right.
Our little ultra-processed snack that could survive a nuclear war?
That's right. That's right. She was untouched and still had that smell to her, Little Debbie smell.
We'll see if she still
2 years
does.
later, which meant the gases were coming out of Little Debbie for 2 years. Wow.
Stick around for that one. The phone number to call anytime if you have a question for the good doc is 608-492-9292.
That's right. 608-492-9292. And folks, we love getting your calls.
All right, let's get right into our healthy living topic and talk about a new JAMA study about social media use in preteens and how it's affecting their cognitive performance. That sounds kind of scary.
Absolutely. So this is an issue. First of all, we worry about social media. But let me tell you something. We've worried about social media back in Greek times.
Oh, really? What was social media back then?
Writing on the wall.
Okay.
That was social media. But they were also talking about the kids are not paying attention to themselves. The Greeks were talking about it. Socrates, Plato, they all wrote about it and about the fact that children are not following what, the wise people say and so on. So this is nothing new. Now, I have a question for you. You grew up before there was texting when you grew up, right?
Kind of, yeah. That came around in college.
So what did you do for social media?
Oh, man. It started when I remember it was like MySpace. Remember that one?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. What did you do when you hung out with people?
Oh.
Did you go to the mall?
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s. So, yeah, big,
you went to the
big mall culture.
So what's the difference between the mall and social media?
Maybe you're moving your body around a little bit.
Yeah, and you're interactive.
Yeah.
You see things differently. You're looking at people. It's contemporaneous communication. I'm talking to you. You're talking to me. Social media is non-contemporaneous communication in many ways. I don't look at you and respond right away. You may see me typing because those little bubbles come up.
Oh, the little bubbles, yeah.
Yeah, but
dots.
I'm thinking it's not contemporaneous. It's like a delay, and it makes a difference. So children, we looked at cognitive performance. It's a very important JAMA study. Okay, 6,500 adolescents, 9 to 13. They looked at how much time they spend on social media, which basically is about 5 hours a day. On and off social media. And social media, of course, is not passive like TV. We know 5.5 hours of TV a day. Would your mom let you watch TV for 5.5 hours?
Not that long, no. We definitely had some limits.
How much do you let your kids watch TV?
Not that long, no. Probably longer than I would hope,
What's that? What do you think? Now, I'm not talking about Saturday morning when you want to sleep in.
Okay.
How about during the week?
During the week?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe an hour.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But this is 5.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Saturday morning. We had our kids watch cartoons on Saturday morning.
You're all right with that? Okay.
Yeah, I want to sleep. Yeah. I think that's all right. And this is part of the contract. You let us sleep, you can watch junk on TV.
There you go.
But social media is different. It requires active participation. You've got to scroll, you got to check notifications, you have to engage in people online. So it has cognitive decision making. Okay? Now, you would think all of that processing and cognitive would be good, but the reality is it is not actually good because it takes away from other parts of your brain as a preteen, which is learning How do you think? How do you learn? How do you process information? So it appears on, they analyzed the data from the Adolescent Brain Cognitive Development Study, ABCD study, longitudinal study, looked at adolescents over time, and lo and behold, they didn't score as well on cognitive tests.
Okay.
Asking questions, looking, reading a paragraph and then answering questions, doing numbers on tests. So it may be that the time your brain is spending with social media makes you so tired that you're not developing other parts of your brain that you actually need to perform in life. Mm-hmm. In other words, it's like, I see social media, I don't really have to think as much. When in fact, when you're doing cognitive tests or just relating to people personally, one-to-one, it actually is much more complex than social media. The bottom line here is that too much social media is bad. You're never going to get rid of it. That's okay. I was on the telephone when I was a kid. I'd go to we didn't have malls.
No.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have cars. We didn't have TVs.
Wait, what?
We didn't have electricity. I walked uphill both ways to school.
You were drawing on
the
caves?
usual.
You were just drawing the cave paintings?
Cave drawings. But that was social media.
Yeah.
That's called graffiti.
Yeah.
That's what they had in Greek times. Believe me. You think, hey, you only see the cave writing that's lasted. You should see the stuff that we wrote back in the day in 2000, 3000 BC. You couldn't even print it on TV. You are blushing now because you're thinking about all that stuff that was on social media.
That stuff went viral.
Anyway, it went viral. That's right. But it went to the next person who came to the cave. We're getting off track here.
A little bit.
The answer is you've got to limit what your kids do.
Sure.
That's all. You're a parent. You limit it.
Moderation.
How do you do it?
Right? Moderation.
Yeah, you limit it. You say there's a certain amount of time. And you can tell how much time they're on social media. The phone will keep track of it. If not, you get an app. Put an app down there. Make sure you can control the app so the kids can't modify it and say,
right.
Hey, I've really not been on there for 2 hours, because they can go in, a lot of those apps, and they can change when they started and stops. You should be in charge of the app and make sure they limit it. Shouldn't be 5.5 hours a day.
Right.
That's too much. What's the magic number? Well, the magic number we often say is about 2 hours a day. That's probably about right, but 5 hours is too much. Parents, this is where you have to take control.
All right, let's go to the phones now. Let's try to help out a caller from Hackensack, New Jersey. Hi.
Hi, this is Paul from Hackensack, New Jersey, Dr. Zorba. I have a situation with breathing at night. It seems like I can't breathe fully because my nose is all clogged up. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night almost like I'm choking, and I know that my mouth is fully dry. Now, it happens periodically, and every once in a while, my nose opens up and I can breathe, but usually I can't. Huh. And I almost feel like, I'm going to choke to death.
Wow.
And
That's awful.
I get up and I sit up, and then I go to the bathroom and I put a little water in my mouth, and then I go back. But it's really old.
I mean, that's scary.
Yeah.
How long has it been going on for?
Well, it's been going on, I guess, for a couple of years. And it doesn't happen all the time, but it's been happening more frequently. And it happened last night again. And I said, oh, good. I said, I'm going to talk to Dr. Zorba maybe.
I'm going to give you some advice. Well, I'm going to give you some advice. So first of all, Have you ever put a steroid nasal spray, which now is over the counter? Have you ever used that at all?
I use something like a saline solution.
Saline, okay. Okay, so next question. How often does this happen?
I'm going to say it's happening more frequently, once or twice a week.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, I've got a couple of very specific suggestions. First of all, I want you to go to the store. You can get a steroid, the drugstore, or Costco, or any one of the other stores. You can get a steroid nasal spray. Fluticasone is the generic name of the over-the-counter one that's most common. Fluticasone, Fluticasone, something like that. I can never spell things, but fluticasone, nasal spray. Put it in your nose once a day.
Once a day.
See if that works. You got to get your nose opened up. You may have some inflammation in the nose, and basically at nighttime, it may be doing this. That's the first thing I would try. If that doesn't work, there is now an over-the-counter antihistamine nasal spray.
Okay.
Not an oral one, nasal spray. I can't remember the name brand of it. I would try that if the fluticasone doesn't work. I had many, many people in my practice who used it every night because their nose would close up from allergies and other things. That's a very likely thing to work. And the other thing is, if your house is dry, you need an ultrasonic humidifier where you sleep, near where you sleep, not in that far part of the room, but right near your bed, because it'll moisturize the air. And that's the whole problem. The problem is often we're in a desert, especially in the wintertime. We're like in an arid desert because, if you're in New Jersey, it gets cold, the furnace goes on, or the radiator, whatever you have, and it dries things out. So you want to make sure your room stays moisturized with an ultrasonic.
Moisturizers, okay.
So those are the things. Chances are this is going to work. You've got to get the inflammation in your nose down, and the best way to do that is with a steroid nasal spray. And this usually really works well. And let us know. Give us a call back.
Okay. I appreciate your help. Thank you so much, Dr. Zorba.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. And thanks for listening. Appreciate that. Bye-bye.
Okay. Take care now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for that call at 608-492-9292.
Thank you. And we love those calls. We love them.
We do. All right, Zorba, we're going to do something, and I'm going to surprise you right now. You didn't know this was coming, but our radio show, we would check in with our little snack cake, Little Debbie.
Yeah, Little Debbie.
I saved Little Debbie. I got her right here.
Oh my God, let's look at her. Oh my God, there she is.
There she is. Same plate.
We're going to put a picture of her on our website,
Let's do that.
drzorba.org. That's drzorba.org. You can see a picture of Little Debbie here.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to put down what she contains. Let's see whether or not.
Do you want a full
it's
ingredients
been more
list?
than 2 years.
How does she
I can
still smell
it.
sweet?
Yes. Oh, there's no doubt about
Try
it.
this
Here,
again.
try it.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It's been a while.
That's insane that it's.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
she
smell
still
it in this. Smell at the end.
Yeah, in the
smell
frosting
it.
area.
Yeah, in the frosting.
In the frosting zone.
Isn't that amazing?
She's even sweeter.
So it's 2 years later, which means the gases from what they put in there have been going into the environment 24/7 for more than probably 800 days, because it's been more than 2 years. And that shows you that ultra-processed foods will survive any nuclear war. So folks, stock up a Little Debbie and put it in your bomb shelter, and you will be sure that she will make your day. And in plastic wrap, she'll last even longer.
I forgot to do the intro in this, which is Nancy on the Facebook page said, are there going to be any updates on Little Debbie? So thanks for prompting us,
That's
Nancy.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Thank you,
outro.
Nancy. Thanks for telling us.
And
Appreciate it.
might as well do the Facebook segment now because we're into it. Zorba Pastor, he's always posting on the Facebook page, so go there anytime. A lot of pictures. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them here.
I love these comments.
Yeah, this is fun. You recently posted a photo of a pizza that you ate in New Delhi, India, but very strange looking black crust. Almost looked burnt.
Yeah, they did.
What was that
crust
pizza
was
about?
burnt.
Okay, it was
But
burnt.
in some pizzas that are made in wood ovens, the bottom of it, and you look at the bottom, has a little char on it.
Okay.
When I was in this particular Holiday Inn, you could order it with a char around the outside.
And you liked
And the
that?
outside, I thought it was delicious.
Wow.
I didn't eat total crust on the outside.
Yeah.
But as you got closer, you had that burnt taste, which I happen to like a lot. But yeah, it was a burnt pizza.
It was a burnt, because there was some speculation with commenters on Facebook about whether that was a burnt crust
No, it
or
was a
if
burnt
it was
crust.
something else. So
No, it
I'll
was a
read
burnt
it.
crust.
Tammy from Lexington, Kentucky, she points out, I'm pretty sure it was made with activated charcoal powder.
Oh, I have no idea.
Does that ring a bell at all?
No, I don't.
No?
I think they didn't say that, but of course it didn't. Why would they say it? I don't know.
I don't know.
But it was a burnt crust.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was puffy. It was
Yeah.
kind of big. It was like an inch bigger. It wasn't the regular. It wasn't, the crust for the pizza is usually on par with the end of the pizza. This crust was 2 to 3 times higher.
Oh.
So in other words, the crust itself was higher. So it probably, and it was extremely thin. It was like a cracker. So when you bit into it, it was like a cracker.
Sounds pretty good.
So-
I like cracker crust.
So it's a cracker crust on the top, so that was probably part of it.
Okay.
I should have gone and looked at how they made it.
How they made that? Well, there was a little more debate here. Sarah in
Please.
Iowa replied to Tammy from Lexington.
Yes, okay.
We're getting really into it now. Why would you use activated charcoal powder to prevent indigestion? That could be dangerous because activated charcoal can also absorb drugs.
Well, I think
as a doctor, what do you think?
I think activated charcoal is fine.
Is it okay?
If you take medicines, I mean, for some people it helps. It actually helps with their upset stomach. But if you take medicines, you have to check with your pharmacist because the answer is it can interfere. Just like cranberry juice can interfere, and just like grapefruit juice notoriously interferes with statins. So when in doubt, ask your pharmacist. They're really incredibly knowledgeable. We don't give them enough credit, and they really love answering questions like this, and they will do research for you. Neighborhood pharmacists are great.
They are. All right, moving along to a different photo here. This is a photo on the Stay Well Facebook page. This is of Zorba. He's passed out in the seat of what looks to be a college basketball stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're next to your son who's pointing at you and laughing.
It's very
You're
funny.
sleeping at a basketball game.
Well, what happened is I come back from India. I've just done like 42 hours on a flight. I'm in Seattle for a couple of days, and I'm really, really tired. And the basketball game is really, really boring.
Oh, it's boring.
Really boring.
Who was it, by the way? Who was playing?
Oregon. No,
you got to say Oregon, not Oregon.
Not Oregon. Sorry. Oregon and Utah, the Utah Utes. The Utes. And I'm listening to the game and I'm thinking,
it just lulled you to
sleep.
sleep.
Yes, lulled me to sleep. And my son Zach was going, it's so loud. How can you sleep? And periodically, apparently, I would pop up. I was asleep and I would say, it's a good game. And then my head would go back down and I would go right back.
Just check in real quick.
Right back to sleep. And he took this picture, which is on my Facebook.
Yeah,
it's a very funny picture. I'm clearly zonked.
You're zonked. There's some comments. So Sandra in Wisconsin wrote, I love it. I wondered if you ever run out of gas. So I think she was happy that you found, because you post so much on Facebook about your travels and adventures.
I was gas free.
You were out of gas there. Kathy from Paris, Kentucky writes, jet lag is real, so is sleep deprivation. How about a podcast on one or both, especially for us older folks?
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
We talk about jet lag in a future episode.
Jet lag, that's a very good. We'll do that. We'll do that in a future podcast. And the other thing is, when you can grab sleep, just grab it. If it's the middle of a basketball game and you're with your son and a bunch of his friends, they really don't care what you're doing. So you know what? You go to sleep, just grab your sleep wherever you can. But make sure it's not in the car when you're driving.
That's a good point. Clinky Cleaners is sponsoring this episode.
Thank you. Okay, Carl, what comes to your mind when you think of dry cleaning?
I honestly don't know. I really don't know the technology, how it works, but I know it gets my clothes clean, and they offer the same-day service at all of their locations.
That's right. Clinky Cleaners has been locally owned, really important, and operated since 1958. That is nearly 70 years.
70 years, wow. Nearly 70 years of keeping their clothes and their reputation spotless.
So visit Clinky Cleaners for all your southern Wisconsin dry cleaning needs. Tell them Dr. Zorba sent you, and I've been using Clinky Cleaners forever.
All right, if you have an email question for the good doc, you can email the show anytime. Ask Dr. Zorba at gmail.com. Spell it out, ask Dr. Zorba at gmail.com. Let's go to a couple emails now from listeners. This is from, let's see, hello, I'll just start in. Hello, Zorba. My name is Carl Christensen, and this is spelled differently than my name.
It really is a Carl Christensen.
It's the T-I-A-N, like the Christian, Christian, S-O-N. So S-O-N's like me, but it's not T-E-N. Anyways, my name is Carl Christensen, and I'm from Wisconsin, just not your Carl. True story. Okay, so this is from Carl Christensen. Say, I have a question for you. I've been having really bad problems with chronic sinusitis and allergic rhinitis. My symptoms, rhinitis. My symptoms include some pretty bad headaches and even some vertigo at times. Wow. Any ideas what causes this and how can I manage this?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of things that you can do for chronic sinusitis. First of all, at night, when you're sleeping, moisturize the room, ultrasonic vaporizer near your bed. Keep the room nice and moist. Very, very useful. Next, a neti pot or a sinus cleanse cleanser. A neti pot is where you kind of put a saline solution into your nose. You can make it yourself. You don't have to buy little packets. Clean out your nose every day. can be very, very useful. Next step after that, if that doesn't work, over-the-counter steroid nasal spray. Put your head way back because you want to get to the upper part of your sinuses, right in the back of the nose. 1 squirt in each nostril twice a day. See if that works. If that doesn't work, go to an over-the-counter antihistamine nasal spray, which is also very, very useful. And those things together can make a big difference and keep you away from antibiotics. Antibiotics often do not work. We overuse them. We give them when people have serious sinusitis with temperatures where they have a fever. But if they don't, it's usually a virus. But you want to keep those little areas in the sinuses free and clear because the sinuses are in the head. They actually are in the head, we believe, to keep the head less weighty in the front, because we want more weight in the back to keep our head right so our eyes look forward while we're walking. There's some theories as to why the sign. I bet you've never thought about that.
I've never heard of that before, no.
You've never thought about it.
I learn something every time on this show with you, Zorba. That's amazing. All right, thanks for that email, the other Carl Christensen.
Thank you
for that email.
Thank you.
Let's do another email. This is from a listener, Rochelle, who writes, Dear Dr. Zorba, you have such a fun podcast. I love the mom jokes, too. Thanks, Rochelle. I'll tell my mom that. Rochelle says, you were talking about the importance of direct eye contact with babies and others.
Yes, and communication.
So I was looking for books for a baby, and I saw a book in only black and white. It was called What Does Baby See? So my question is, when do those little darlings see in color?
Well, the brain and the eyes develop a lot when they get out of the womb.
Okay.
So think about it. You can hear in the womb. Babies can hear you because the cochlear and the hearing, and they can go through that so they can hear you, but they can't see anything. It's dark in there, right? I mean, like pitch black.
Sure, yeah.
So when the eyes come out, they begin to develop more. The retina begins to develop more. So for the first 2 weeks, they basically, this is the theory, and they've done research on this, where they look at babies to see how they respond. So for the first 2 weeks, basically, the theory is they see black and white, maybe shades of gray. From 2 to 4 weeks, they start to begin to see color. Oh. They see some red. Red is very important color. Red is blood.
Sure.
Red is important for making, for basically development. They see some yellow. And then basically, really from about 2 to 4 months, they begin to distinguish most colors, and they develop over that time, over that 6-month period, the same as adults. But the brain is growing during that time. The brain is growing. The head is expanding because remember, you've got soft spots in the head, and there's so much neurologically going on. And that's why the importance of tummy time with infants are important. That's why showing your infants a variety of colors is important, and that's why interacting with babies is critically important now and for the rest of their lives, because they are developing nerves and neurons and brain power that is going to help them in the future.
One more email? What do you think? Is that okay?
I got
Why
the
not?
time.
We get a lot of them, so we might as well bang a bunch of them out here.
You got it.
This is more of a thank you. This is from Joyce, who says, Dr. Zorba, I am thrilled with your new podcast.
Nice,
You're such an inspiration to me, and I love listening to Carl, too. I'm a 75-year-old woman, a caregiver to my wonderful husband, and when I feel overwhelmed, I listen to one of your podcasts, and I feel like I'm among the living again.
Oh, how nice.
Your advice and laughter, and seeing how, after life hits you hard, you can keep going and find joy again. It spurs me on. And it reminds me not to forget to take care of myself, which I often do. I'm thinking of advice I once heard. The Bible doesn't say, love your neighbor instead of yourself. It's true. I don't think it says that. Thank you so much. That's a nice thanks, Joyce. Appreciate it.
But I do understand that. My wife, Penny, who passed away 2 years ago, and she had a gradual downhill course. She has neurological problems I won't go into, but I really took care of her intermittently and then seriously for the last 1 to 2 years before she died. And we were married for 50 years, never bothered me, never had a problem. But I had to make sure I had time for myself. Because if I was there 24/7, it wouldn't have worked. And that's important. Take time for yourself, get a perspective, take a break, because otherwise you can't function. And it's just like in an airplane when they tell you, if the oxygen drops down and you got a baby next to you, put the oxygen on your face first and then on the child. Take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of the other person.
That's it. We covered a lot today.
We did.
We talked
We
about
did.
social media and how it's probably not good to have too much of that for preteens
You bet.
or anyone.
Very important
that
for their
matter.
cognitive development to limit their social media. Not get rid of it. You're not going to do that. Just put some guardrails on, just like you do everything else with preteens and teens.
Yeah, you helped out a caller who had some breathing issues. We checked in with Little Debbie.
Yeah, little
again.
Debbie.
It's been a while.
That's right.
It's good
She's
to
still
see
there for
her
us.
frosty
still
face.
there for this. When there's
Yeah.
when there's a nuclear war, you have little Debbies in the basement. And you will, you might survive. It's not just those
Stock
cans
your
of
bomb
beans.
shelters, people.
It's little Debbie.
All right. We answered a whole bunch of listener emails about sinusitis. We learned about when babies see color.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
got a really nice thank you note from Joyce. That was
Yes.
very nice.
Thank
and we
you.
checked in on some
Thank you.
Facebook. Oh, we learned
That's
about jet lag and
That's
how
right. Yeah.
Zorba likes to pass out at basketball
exactly.
games.
I do.
Got to recharge, Zorba. You got to recharge those batteries.
You've got it. You know, we love this podcast. Remember, we've got a great website, drzorba.org. That's drzorba.org. And remember, you can always email us at askdrzorba@gmail.com. And of course, you can call us at 608-492-9292. Stay well.